The terms personality difficulty or personality disorder are not well defined by anyone. The difficulties people have within their personality are dimensional. They are not things that one can think of as being, somebody's in a category and other people who don't have difficulties. That's not something that I think is possible to think about. The way people have difficulties in their personality are manifested in their relationships, their difficulty in maintaining relationships or being able to have smooth relationships or cooperative relationships with other people. They have difficulties in their sense of themselves and their sense of identity, who they are, what they are. They may feel uncertain about various aspects of who or what they are. And lastly, they have problems with their feelings and how to manage them. So that they can easily become overwhelmed by their feelings, all sorts of feelings like anger, anxiety, depression, things like that they can't regulate them and manage them very easily and easily overwhelmed by them. Those last things can lead into behavioural problems that they then use as a means of trying to manage those particular feelings. So difficulties with drugs and alcohol, for example, that are used to manage feelings rather than just socially, for example, can be part of personality disorder. It means for their children that their difficulties in managing their feelings will reflect on their parenting, and they will easily communicate to their children their own distressed, overwhelmed states. Sometimes in things like domestic violence, but sometimes just in becoming over anxious or very angry, or sometimes withdrawn, depressed in ways which actually then leaves their children having to manage their own feelings on their own because the parent is preoccupied by their own distressed feelings. So the child can't have a sense of security that they've got a mind or a parent thinking about them, managing them, helping them deal with the world and their own needs. They're not available to them when they're being overwhelmed by their own feelings.
If you think about children growing up, the basic tasks in a way that they need to learn to be able to grow up to be adults who function okay in society is they need to learn to identify and manage their feelings so that if they get angry they don't hit someone, or if they get depressed they don't go suicidal. They need to be able to form and keep close relationships, because usually the way that we manage our feelings is through relationships. The way that we feel safe and the way that we feel secure and settled is through having close personal relationships. That's how human beings function. And they need to learn to negotiate with authority, really. So the way that children learn those things is through their relationships with their parents. So that, for example, if a child's distressed, then its mum, say, will recognise that distress and acknowledge it and talk to the child about it, as well as helping them calm down. And that's the beginning of a process whereby children learn, by internalising that kind of process, to manage their own feelings. And it's also a process by which children learn to trust people, trust them, that they can help them, really. For all the parents here who have personality difficulties, all of those qualities, all of those ways of functioning, managing feelings, having interpersonal relationships, negotiating with authority, they're really difficult for those parents, because as children they didn't have that kind of attuned parenting, if you like, parenting that helped them learn those things. So I would see that as a central part of having what are called personality difficulties.